Hey guys, Rabbit here, back with another Starcraft Broodwar Remastered cast, and we are on Fighting Spirit, and we have a PVT for you today between Bisu, who is spawned in the bottom left position, against Hiya, who is spawned in the top right position, because there is an observer named Bye Bye, which is ironic because I just wanted to say hello. We cannot change the colors, so we're going to have to deal with blue and purple. Fortunately, not the best contrast of colors, but you know, you can't have it all. Anyway, so a game from about the 2015 range. Bisu was certainly at the peak of his powers. Just got done casting a PVZ of his against Hiya, which was an absolute cracker. Part of my batch recording session today, where I am concluding the 29 videos that I made in 2 weeks. So I did that because I'm going on vacation. So it's November 2022 and I'm recording this now, and this game will probably come out in February 2023. So I just want to say hello and happy 2023 to all Rabbit fans. I hope you've enjoyed the cast. Thank you for supporting the channel, for all of you that have so far, and welcome to those who are seeing me for the very first time. Okay, so it seems to be pretty standardish stuff at this stage. Are we going to build a forward barracks? Yes, we are. Okay, so it looks like we're gearing up for a racks expand on this side of the fence. It looks like Bisu's just doing a gateway open, so no nexus first from him, although the cross positions would have made that actually a viable option, but of course you don't know that until you know that. So in this case, he's decided just to go with a more conventional opening. So Bisu, terrifying player, definitely a very, very good PVZ player. I enjoy his PVT, tends to play with arbiters a lot. Particularly this time, you know, arbiters were very, very popular. Fighting Spirit is really, really good for arbiters because of the number of positions you can do a recall from. So I would anticipate probably an arbiter-centric style from him. I don't actually know that much about Hiya as a player, so you're a professional Terran player. Chances are you're pretty good with tanks and vultures and repelling players like Bisu, which is why he is playing against you on Fighting Spirit. So obviously a very, very strong Terran player, just not somebody I have a profile on as of yet because I haven't watched a lot of his games. For example, if you think about a player like Fantasy, that's somebody that I've cast a lot in the past already, so I know he plays a very strong harassment style type game, and therefore can give him that kind of profile. So looking forward to see what Hiya has in store. He's very ballsy because he's gone with a Rax Expand, which is actually considered to be more modern meta, but this game is a little bit older, so that's pretty bold. I don't know what a Bisu does when scouting this, as opposed to maybe just putting on a lot of Dragoon pressure until the factory comes out and the tank can fend away the goons. We do see some funky things like proxy pylons and robos and reavers, and there are things that Protoss players do try and do to break this, but I don't know what of any of those options Bisu is going to maybe try and do. I don't see a second gateway going down. He may just prioritize throwing down a nexus. At this stage he is on 28 supplies, so his nexus is in theoretically a little bit late already, especially considering his opponent's command center has just finished. So strong econ position for our Terran here, and so Bisu theoretically is in some trouble unless he has a trick up his sleeve. So posturing around the map with his Dragoons, having a look around there, he throws down his Nexus, so just throws it down naked. He doesn't really need to worry about walling or having his Dragoons at home. He knows that his opponent's going to have absolutely no mobile units on the map for quite some time. How many? Okay, so he's filled the bunker, so 4 Marines in there. He didn't skimp on 1 or 2 Marines, which sometimes you do see happen. Getting up a second gas, getting up a factory. So this man is looking like he is in a very, very good position here. Alright, so Bisu now firing away at the bunker. The standard 2 SCVs to do the repair, so you'll always have the same number of Dragoons to SCVs repairing the bunker. So we're sending we have another Dragoon on the map just to block the scout, to see exactly, to avoid Terran being able to see exactly what Bisu is up to. We can see that he's just gone 1 gate robo, so very, very passive so far. just constantly building one Dragoon out of his gateway. He's going to rally that forward until such time as the tanks come out, and then we'll see him progress in his build. I won't be surprised to see Bisu go with a very, very fast third base here, with the constant harassment from the goons coming through. He's got absolute map control. There are no mobile units on the map at all from our Terran, so he could just throw up a third base, and look at that. Okay, so he's done sub 5.5 minute third. That is kind of the standard response. So if you don't want to be aggro and you see the racks expand, you throw down a Nexus, you take map control with a couple of goons hitting the bunker, and then you take a very quick third. So it's basically a one gate robo triple Nexus response, which is what we're seeing from Bisu. So I think based on this game is likely to be one of those juicy macro PVTs with a lot of fights, because both players have gone with very macro-centric openings. We just hear a siege tank shoot up, and boom, shot him in the face, and now backs away. Boom, shoots him again. He's got to back away with the rest of his goons here. Oh, there's taken hull damage or shield damage with every one of his goons, and then he backs them all away, and that's going to be the end of that. Building a blocker spotter pylon over here to try and get an understanding of when and if his Terran opponent decides to expand. Hiya is getting himself a second factory. He's got his 2 armories going. Wow, this is a very upgrade central build. The double armory before a second factory even. That is insane. We should see the academy quite soon. We should see an eBay quite soon, because he's going to need things like turrets to be able to block any shuttles, although he's getting Charon boosts. I think his solution to any shuttle harassment is going to be Goliaths with range, which is fair. It's a fair option. And if you're comfortable that you're not going to need detection of any kind, because if Bisu were to do a DT drop, for example, now, it would be a problem. The scout denial, which we saw was very prominent from Bisu in those first few minutes, was to try and block the SCUs from seeing the quick third. But here we go. In flies the observer. Beautiful time, considering the triple nexus. It flies in and sees, okay, so there is 2 Goliaths, there's 2 factories. That seems to be your plan. Let me check around here if there's a starport. No. There will be a starport pretty soon, though. There's going to have to be. In fact, this is what's coming in now, because the double armory has a 3rd factory here. So where's the starport being built? Down here. There'll have to be, because the double armory stops being able to upgrade if you don't have a science facility. That's what opens up the rights to be able to progress beyond +1 defense or weapons. So naturally the progression will be now to get the tech required to continue with those upgrades. Citadel coming in from Bisu. It's got a nice pod of goons over here, nice wall coming in here, so it's going to be very difficult. Maybe he needs to pop a goon in there to block that. I don't know if that would be vulture tight. Starcraft is weird because visually it's obvious, it looks like they can fit, but sometimes you'll be blown away because they won't be able to fit. Lots of observers on the map, something for new Protoss players. Do not be shy in building observers in a PVT. 4 or 5 observers. You can never have too many observers. Here comes the science facility, as I predicted, so that we can continue, because now unfortunately his timing wasn't absolutely perfect. Both of his +1 upgrades are complete, but he does not have +2 happening as of yet because he can't. So this is going to be a 2 base push. I switched off Bisu's vision accidentally, sorry about that. This is going to be a 2 base push, I think, because we've gone up to 5 factories before building a command center. We're starting +2, so we can see here. Do I have a tank? Tank is a better example. So we've got +1, we're starting +2 plating and weapons. So we're going to try and do it. Is it going to be a 2-2 timing attack from our Terran? It could very well be. Here comes the vulture, so I don't think he can fit through there. A couple of dragoons have come through to try and pick him off. So this is also a very common drop spot. So if you've ever played Protoss on Fighting Spirits, drop should fly in here, drop the vultures, and just wreck your mineral lines. So Bisu very proactively building a cannon there to block that from happening. That's why he's a pro. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gate production. Not progressing to his arbiter tech tree as of yet. I think he has or had an observer in base. So he knows there's no base here. There's no base here, I don't think. Well, I'm talking like we know that there isn't, but I'm pretty sure he has the vision to see that. I think he's expecting a push here, which is why he's gone up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gate production before worrying about his Arbiter tech tree. So when is this push happening? I just have a feeling. The Arbiter is on its way, so I'm blind. Where's your... your Arbiter tech tree is up here. Okay, so he's built his Arbiter. He stayed on 3 bases. Built his Arbiter tech tree off of 6 gates, which is a pretty good middle ground. Your Arbiter is a little bit slower than what it would be if you, for example, did it on 2 bases or you did it off of 4 gates. But Bisu, looking at the number of factories, understanding that his opponent is probably on 5-pack production, has decided to get his Arbiter out onto the 6 gates. However, it doesn't look like Hiya is looking to push. He's gone up to 5 gates, he's gone on to double upgrades, and now here comes this command center. This command center is going to land. It's 150 versus 126 here at the 11-minute mark. This shuttle is supposed to try and block anything. Ow! So he is trying to pressure this third to delay his Terran opponent. This is quite a nice move from Bisu, but the amount of vultures that are here and the speed of landing the mines. Ow, that is a very, very dead zealot. But you gave your life for Hiya. Thank you, son. Good job, good job. Well appreciated indeed. So Bisu's observer has seen that a third has gone up, so he is now trying to throw up a 5th base. He has a 4th over here, which I missed getting established. It's not saturated as of yet, but a nice pylon wall and little like triangle of cannons. Couple of goons and zealot come in here to pick off any harassment. So he's going up to 5 bases. We have seen skirmishes in this game so far. A little bit of pressure in the beginning, a little scuffle here, but no fights as of yet. And I can tell you from experience, games with no early fights, in other words, games with no fights in the first 15 minutes, tend to end up having enormous fights at a later point in time. Also means now that I'm going to have to keep my eyes peeled for what these Arbiters do and where they go in terms of recalls and all those fun things. So we could see some recalls from Bisu today for sure. So Vultures are moving around, 5 basing Protoss soon to be versus the 3 basing Terran. Vultures will run into each other. Bisu is constantly present on the map, picking off mines, trying to deny vision for the Terran player. The Terran players seem to get quite antsy if they don't have vision on the map, so Bisu, with the APM that he does have, is constantly going to be moving his army around, taking a 6th base. 6 basing Protoss versus a 3 basing Terran. This is nuts. Absolutely nuts. And he's got a zealot here to block this so he can see and try and deny that. Is he going to try and smother his Terran opponent into not really feeling like he can do anything other than move into the middle of the map and take a fight, which is ideally where Protoss will want to engage when we get to that point of the game. So we're a nearly maxed out Bisu. We're going to have to start pressuring some bases here. 13 minutes, he's nearly maxed out. Obviously his max out timing is a lot slower than 12 minutes because of the fact that he has 6 bases, so he's prioritized his macro in terms of bases over just having a maxed out army ASAP. That being said, now I'm expecting this gateway explosion to be even more, probably some more gates up here, certainly some more gates coming in here. Here they come now, so he's going to have so much reinforcement power. It's going to be a lot of fun taking these big fights in the not too distant future. So Vultures come around here and go, oh hello Mr. Zealot, how are you? I'm going to kill you. Please kill the zealot. Okay, maybe later. So army looks like it's converging. It's basically just a shuttle, speed zealots with +1 attack and 2 arbiters. So as predicted, fighting spirit, Bisu of 2015. He's playing an arbiter mass expansion style game. That was certainly the most popular meta of the time. It's still very popular today. It's just a very good way to try and play this match if you are Protoss, because you've got so many gateways to reinforce on, you've got so much money, you can just trade very inefficiently against Terran and still win. It's as simple as that. Arbiters are great in terms of buying you time. Arbiters are good in terms of stasis. Here's a big fight. Here comes some zealots. He backs away though from the fight and decides maybe we'll engage another day. So quite common in this map as well is that Terran to try and slowly but surely control the game. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, so it doesn't engage. So Terran to try and take control of the game actually build out. So you'll see they add a lot of turrets, they add a lot of mines, and they want to try and move more and more towards the middle of the map, which makes it much easier for them to defend expansions. If the Terran is sort of turtled up here, then this base is vulnerable. And if they want to try and take these bases, which of course Bisu is just trying to take himself, then being more centrally positioned with a whole heap of siege tanks is much better. So Bisu is taking pretty much every bloody base on this map. If you're higher, you're in a serious amount of trouble if you are not able to take base. Beautiful stasis on those tanks. He's engaging here. He's come a couple of zealot bombs as well, but the Goliaths have been pretty helpful in terms of picking up the shuttle. Bisu decides to engage to a point until he runs out of zealots, and then he moves away. So that was a very nice engagement for our Terran, who's starting to move out into the map, which I think is a good call. We can see like a little bit of a corridor here. Bisu's units are a little bit stuck here now. The tanks haven't even bothered to siege up. They are very, very strong tanks. They're about to become... They're already 3-3 tanks, so this very, very upgrade-centric style, this is such powerful mech. It's 16 minutes. We have 3-3 tanks out on the map. As you as Bisu, I don't even think Arbiters is enough. You probably need Storm. And as I say that, here's the Storm. Okay, I did not script that. That was just a beautiful moment. But our Terran is 187 to 175, and he is storming straight into the front door of Bisu here. Bisu is going to be under serious pressure. He's going to have a huge heap of 3-3 mech parked on his front door. Yes, he can maybe stasis this, which will slow this down. He does a good job. He gets the vessel too. A couple of zealots getting on top of the remaining. He double stasises. So now what he would need to do is pick off the tanks that are not in stasis, which he does, and get a whole bunch of zealots to surround this so that he can kill these when they unfreeze. More Terran though is moving out here. He hasn't thrown his entire army into one place. He's splitting the attention of Bisu everywhere he goes. In fact, there are some bloody tanks that have been dropped here that have knocked down this base. Bisu's solution to that was a DT. I missed that initially because the game is so frenetic. He's got tanks in this position. He's got units surrounding here. He's sending more reinforcements. I'm running out of breath. Holy crap, what a game. Okay, so some units are starting to unfreeze. He's got a huge surround here. There we go. So the surround is gone. EMP hits this Arbiter, so they can't refreeze the tanks. Those tanks are done. He realizes that. He's going to regroup with these boys. And there's a few mines between here and that. So another Nexus goes down. So in summary of the action that just happened there, this dropship dropped a tank, killed this Nexus. He moved in here with his tanks, killed this Nexus. And he moved on this position, and Bisu was able to hold with some stasis. So Bisu looks like he's going to try and re-establish this position. He's got 4 gates supporting here. He's got this base, and he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gates supporting here. He's got gateways everywhere. He's got more than 20 gateways. So as long as he can keep his income going, he's going to be very, very hard to stop because he's got so many homes away from home. Another base being pressured here by Hiya. This is how you play Terran. You've got to have the multitasking and the skills to be able to move out onto the map. You've got to be able to lay mines behind you. You've got to get yourself in good position to knock down Nexuses. That's just all that Hiya has to do. That's the order of the day. Knock down Nexuses and establish bases. Bisu, knowing that his opponent is going to want to establish a 4th base quite soon, is blocking that, which is good. This is not a good engagement for Bisu. There's just too many tanks here. This mech is so strong. Here's the death move. I don't know where the Arbiters are. There are a few High Templars with us. Here come the Arbiters now. But the number of Goliaths that are here with this army mean that the Arbiters basically evaporate in seconds. I think the composition here from our Terran player is really, really strong, which is giving him a huge advantage. That SCV's just moved in to scout that there's still units there. I think Hiya's going to get a bit tilted with this bloody block that's happening here. He needs to send some units across to clean up these basically 4 units that are harassing him. But his attentions are obviously split elsewhere because this fight does continue to happen down here. Both vessels with stasis, but nothing else. I don't think he can engage here. He's got to move away. 194 plays 179. This base is back up and running. This base has been knocked down. This base has been knocked down and is still not re-established. And that's the reason, ladies and gentlemen, why the Protoss has to take so many bases, because he can lose 1 or 2 and can still compete. That's the key. Still not established his 4th position here. Lots of stasis, man. This is just beautifully patient, neutralizing the upgrade advantage, neutralizing the sheer power by reducing the numbers that can engage with him. But still does have to pull away. Supplies are dead even. This game is arguably dead even. I think that our Terran goes into a very strong lead if he's able to establish this base here. And Bisu's still holding on by a thread blocking that. But a 3-basing Terran can be a 3-basing Terran for a painfully long time if you're a Protoss fan. So he's now establishing the natural here and not trying to take this position just simply because of the amount of units that are kind of concentrated towards the south area of the map. And now moving down even more units. I can see these SCVs have been clicked to mine somewhere. My question would be where. He's taken the middle. Hiya, you boss. You are so ballsy. But I like it because he's actually in a position where holding the middle is potentially feasible. He's putting some units up top here. He's putting some units down there. So he's actually surrounding the middle position. You don't see this a lot. This is turning into probably one of the most epic PVTs I have ever had the privilege of casting. Let's see what happens now. He's going to start pressuring this natural position. That was also very, very well spotted. His game instinct from Hiya has been absolutely superb. There are not a lot of vultures here though to buffer for the tanks, and he's frozen a huge clump of them, so it's probably a good idea for him to move forward here and take this fight while the vultures are out of position. He's targeting down a few of the Goliaths. There are virtually no tanks that can fire here, only 2. There's still plenty of zealots. He's got some tanks that are circling around here, but the zealots are on top of them. If they siege up, it actually doesn't help. They need to take the fight in tank mode, which means Bisu's going to need more goons, but he's a little bit surrounded here, unfortunately. All of his units are either going to kill what's here or be killed. It's one of those scenarios where you can't really get out of the fight. Bisu would also have discovered there that Hiya has taken the central position and sort of given up on this one. And I think that would have caught him a little by surprise, to be honest. This dropship, by the way, is still here just chilling. So that Nexus does go down. His units unfortunately get trapped. The amounts of APM and play from both these players, 400 paying 300, is just unbelievable. These guys are out of this world good at StarCraft. So there are a few cannons here, a few cannons here. I don't think vultures are going to do much to penetrate here, even though they have 3-3. But tanks, on the other hand, are very, very handy against this. Terran cannot be everywhere though. So I think Bisu is going to see this as an opportunity to counter pressure this central position. So what's happening here? We have tanks on the ground. I don't think he's going to be able to hold this. So his solution is to go into the central base. He's not taking any of the gases, even though there are 2 here. And to try and take him down, that's a decent storm, but the vultures dodge quite fast. I hear a lot of dead SCV noises, unfortunately, for our Terran. Another storm, nicely done. Goons are here. This command center goes down in an absolute flash. What are our upgrades? We're playing 3-1 against 3-3. This base, though, is certainly going to be sacked. So he lost the natural and this possible second main up here. His third main, I beg your pardon. This is his second main, which is still going strong. Because the Terran is being pulled from pillar to post, once again, Bisu is able to reestablish this. Once again, Bisu is able to reestablish this. This is the power of Protoss, beautifully displayed. Every base that Terran knocks down, Protoss just reestablishes somewhere else. As long as they can constantly build from gateways that are somewhere, whether they be here, or here, or here. So in this case, this one is no longer viable. So you build from this stack of gateways, and you build from this stack of gateways, and you keep playing, and you keep pressuring. So our Terran player now loses his 4th base. Our Terran player has not yet to establish this 4th base. So our Terran player has now got much more to think about than he perhaps had a few minutes ago. So yes, you're going to knock down this Nexus. Cool, good for you. But where is your 4th base going to come from? So this once again draws the Terran player out. He needs to go engage. He needs to fight against Bisu's army. So Bisu, knowing that he's probably going to come down here and that he's kind of split the map to the bottom and top, he's going to obviously want to protect these positions and pressure from this base point. Okay, so looks like he's long distance mining. He's got his entire army coming out this way. Bisu's posturing around here. Watching the mini map, the blue and the purple moving around is certainly the best way to kind of understand where the players are concentrating their energy. Bisu really wants to hold on to this position. This Nexus has been left here. Why? Just kill the Nexus, man. Just do it. Just move your tank slightly further forward. What is happening? Okay, this is a very narrow position with a lot of entrenched tanks here. Not a good idea to move in here. Bisu sees it the same way and moves away. This is just up and down, up and down, up and down. What a game. Okay, so now just leaving a couple of tanks to take care of business here, moving the rest. So Hiya is consolidating his forces. I think that's a good call. Bisu is just posturing up and down. I don't quite think he knows what he wants to do. He certainly probably doesn't want to engage. His whole thing is just holding on to bases. What's our financial position looking like here for our Terran? Mined out? Nearly mined out. Nothing there. Nothing there. He's kind of nearly mined out here. There's not a lot of minerals here. It's a crappy position to try and take. It's got mines here. It's got that here. So our Terran player is under pressure here to re-establish some mining bases. He only has 600 minerals as he takes his engagement. This is going to be a very inefficient trade. Look at the number of tanks that are here. That is just so scary. Bisu backs on the hell out of there. The only way Bisu loses this game is he throws his entire army into one bad fight, and then Terran just goes across the map and wipes out everything before he can reinforce. But even that, he's got reinforcing gateways here and reinforcing gateways here, so it is tricky. This other main though is up for grabs, and Terran needs another base. He cannot win this game with the army he's got. It doesn't matter how good your upgrades are, you're just not going to win with the army you've got. I think Terran needs to try and force the engagement. Unfortunately for Bisu, he's moved right down onto this bridge, which means this base and this base are under a world of pressure, because to take this fight, okay, gain, you can counter. You've re-established this. There's not a lot of minerals here, so it's not really the most wonderful position, but I think he felt it was a little bit more viable than holding this one, perhaps. I don't know. The base is just moving up and down. He's just leaving a small amount of units to take care of business here once he does establish. There's a lot of gateways up here, though, that could support if need be. And Bisu is just continuously posturing up and down, up and down, up and down. He knows what he's doing. Let's see what he decides to do, or when he decides to engage here. I felt for a long time that he's trying to just starve the Terran player out. Doesn't seem to want to try and press this position either. And there's a lot of tanks here, man. Damn, is he going to try and do a recall? Freezes a few tanks, but not that many. There's not that many zealots here, and zealots are really what you need against these tanks, especially on this bridge. The vultures, they're cutting everybody off, which is a master stroke. These couple of zealots, though, do get on top of these tanks. This entire line of tanks got stasis. There are 2 tanks firing, and that is about it. A DT comes into the game. A scanner would probably do this, but the Hiya is so busy, it's going to be so difficult for him to know what exactly is getting all of the alerts at the same time. So the DT does pick off a couple of tanks there, pretty handy. He's going to get himself a 3rd here by the looks of things. This DT is doing good work. 4th, wow, 5 tanks, a very valuable trade on the DT. So 168, our Terran player is ahead, and our Protoss player is really struggling just from relentless pressure. This base is re-established, but guess what? Terran's here to wreck that. Terran has just decided, I don't want to go for another base. I want to just go and wreck what you have. And unfortunately, our Protoss is just, his army doesn't scale as well. To face this 3-3 mech is just impossible. Yes, Storm is helpful, which is good, but this Nexus is going to go down. What is Bisu's mining position? He's got this base, which is healthy. He doesn't have this anymore. This is mined out. This is mined out. This is mined out. Holy crap! This is Bisu's, one of his last mining bases. He's got 2 mining bases, and this Nexus is about to go down, so he's going to soon have 1 mining base. And then he's got this base, which already there are mines that are blocking him getting to, and the position for the Terran to move there is just really not far at all. And there's so many tanks here, he's forced to fight. He's got to protect this Nexus. It's kind of his oxygen. Without this, he's pretty screwed, and down it goes. So he's got 43 workers, all of which are soon to become very unemployed. And now the next thing, the home away from home that I'm talking about, and the final mining base are both in a world of danger. Observer comes in and says, okay, so you've got a little bit of money left, but it doesn't matter if he's got a little bit's enough. If he can get up this ramp and kill what's here. Where are you going, Hiya? Go kill this base. It's his only other mining base. That's confusing me a little bit, I must be honest. So Bisu does try and immediately re-establish this position. The mines, though, tell him exactly what's happening. Here comes Hiya again. I think he just wanted to consolidate his forces. Is he going to go down here, or is he going to go after the main? This position now is also trying to come up, and I think he might block that from coming up. This position, as we can see, he scanned that, sees that's coming up again. So, moves his units down to try and shut it down again. It's just open up, shut down, open up, shut down, open up, shut down. There ain't no way you're getting in here as Protoss. This is like Fort Knox. So, Terran can just move with a pretty small clump of units and knock this down. I mean, these zealots should do decently. He doesn't have a lot of vultures here. Now he brings in a few to help. And that's the end of that Nexus. What I can't understand is why he hasn't gone up this ramp to try and knock down this base. The gateways, the money. This is Bisu's final mining base. This is his auction. He's got nothing after this. Don't suicide all your units, Bisu! No! Okay, so he's just going to do this with arbiters. He's going to freeze them all to death. but he's only frozen a few, and this tank line is really, really deep. He's traded a huge amount of units here, and a couple of reinforcing vultures have come down. Hiya has protected this position. I don't know if Bisu's trying to buy some time. He's not trying to get another base up. Nobody's trying to get this base up. This base is still not been established. He's played this entire game off of 3 bases plus this little middle schmutz of minerals, and that has been it from our Terran, and he's still got plenty of gas. So just basically building vultures and the odd tank every now and again, and that's it. So he's building 6 vultures at a time, and I think that's probably going to be enough. He just has to shut down this base, and our Protoss is going to run out of steam. And now he's establishing his own position, thinking, well, I'm feeling pretty strong, and it's a hell of a lot of ground for you to cover this position. So hey, come and shut this base down now, Bisu. Bisu moves across here. He's going to try and reestablish this base. He really, really needs more money. Again, as I say almost all the time, StarCraft is 100% about money. As much as you want to say it's about everything else, yes, there's a lot of skill, yes, there's a lot of strategy, but the long and the short of it is, if you have more money than me, you will win. If I block you getting more money, you will lose. And Hiya has played a masterful game in base destruction, and now he's playing a very good game in terms of base denial. So, units have run up here, there are a couple of arbiters here. The only thing that puzzles me, and I'll say it again, is that Hiya has never once pressured this position. Maybe he's thinking there's a whole heap of high Templars on that ramp that's going to make it difficult. But this position is now blocked off. He's going to float in a command center here. I'm pretty sure Bisu's going to try and pressure this. Here comes the Arbiter to go, okay, so that's what's happening here. What units does he have, though? Well, he recalled a whole bunch in here to destroy the command center. Fortunately, I kicked away as he did it, but that was pretty smart. So, a nice block from Bisu, buying himself some more time, re-establishing this position here. Hiya needs to destroy this, and he knows that. He unfortunately couldn't establish a position himself. He's not cash starved because his army is just trading so well. He's not losing many units in engagements. So the tank siege up here is going to have to come down the ramp, but this is far too few units to engage with. A couple more arbiters around here. Maybe they'll do a stasis. They froze the vessel, which I guess is slightly helpful. But I think these are just going to walk straight in the front door and knock this down. Does he have vision? He does. He has siege tanks here blocking him trying to re-establish this. He has a siege tank here blocking him trying to re-establish this. So while Bisu is blocking the establishment of that base, the Terran player does not need a base as badly as Bisu does. So I think, to my massive surprise, considering the brilliant game that I thought Bisu was playing, I think he's going to lose here, guys. Here we go. Next is shut down. What you going to do now? Patrolling with his arbiters. He's going to try and recall these units in. There's really still not that many. I mean, he just can't beat this. It's just too much army power, man. So he could waltz up here and knock this out. Bisu's going to run out of money. This base is it's actually not going to be worth storming this base. If you're Terran, it's not going to be worth it. There's just nothing there to destroy. Whereas there's a couple of schmutz of minerals over here. And then it just comes down to fighting with the army that you both have. And the Terran army is way, way, way stronger. There's a lot of units here, and I think Hiya wasn't maybe expecting to find as many as he did find. So where is Bisu spread? He's over here. He's over here, and he's over there. Sorry, over there. So sort of 3 pods of units. A couple of high Templars sprinkled in between. 5 very, very low health arbiters in amongst this now, 4. And it's just a massive mech army as well. So where does he go? I think if I'm Hiya, I go up here and I press this. I knock these units down. I try and land a command center. And I bring the game to me. Oh, nicely done. It's the high Templars both with an EMP. So no storms, nullifying the effectiveness of those units. Meaning that it's going to come in here and be able to pick this off. That was beautifully done by Hiya. This has been one of the better PVTs I've ever had the privilege of casting, particularly on Fighting Spirit. Still probably one of the most popular maps in Brood War by quite some distance. So again, as expected, he does knock away those units. He's not even going to bother to try and establish a base. He's just going to block that nobody else can. I think Hiya has identified that Bisu is 1, out of money, and 2, just doesn't have the army to fight him head on. So I think Bisu is going to be forced to try and make the play. He has re-established his nexus one last time. If Hiya knocks this nexus down, it's probably going to be GG. He's only got 30 probes, so he's going to have to resaturate and start from scratch. The way he's spread across the map and the vision that he has of what's happening has just been super impressive. He's out of cash here now, so he's like, well, I don't really need to protect this position. There's absolutely no value. SCVs are coming in. He recalls a whole heap of units, but the tanks wreck a whole bunch as well. He's bringing in the remainder of his army up the hill here, and the 4 dragoons that are left are not going to be nearly enough. Bisu runs away. There's just so much Terran left here. Unfortunately for Bisu, he's not going to be able to stop this base coming up, and his base coming up here is just not going to be enough, to be honest. So here he goes again. Stasis is there. He's going to maybe try and do another recall. Let's see if he has the energy for it. Another recall, see if he has the units for it. Doesn't look like it. Looks like he's just going to fire away because there's not much anti-air here. So he does land the command center. Does send a few SCVs to mine because he's not out of cash entirely, but cash is certainly a premium for both players. Nexus is up. Probes are not in position to mine as of yet. Where are the probes is my question. So these arbiters are just being a total pain in the ass. Build something! Doesn't have gas to build Goliaths? Come on, build something! Let's go! Tanks are moving around there. They're not too bothered. Picking off... Oh, man. All of his probes that were being transferred. I asked where the probes were. The answer is dead. 21 probes went from wherever they were, maybe here, walked up here, and the tanks intercepted them and absolutely wrecked them. Bisu realizes that he cannot mine his way out of this, and he most certainly cannot arbiter his way out of this. That was an absolutely fantastic PVT. Well done to Hiya for winning it. I'm Rabbit Drew, a variety Brood War caster. I cast Brood War on a regular basis. If you enjoyed this game and you enjoy Brood War in general, please do consider subscribing to the channel. Until next time, ciao for now.